welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the period of September 27 to October 3rd. Okay, let's jump in and see what messages we have here for Virgo. What is the major theme? We're going to start with the major theme. Major theme for the week for Virgo. Oh, that was fast. Potential. Okay, so Virgo is about to realize their potential in a situation, or perhaps the potential in a situation is about to be realized. And Virgo is going to understand this a little deeper this week. Okay, now let's see what energy is coming in from the archangels to support Virgo as they realize their potential, or as they realize the potential of a certain situation or experience or relationship. Thank you. Planetary cycles. This card is really a time when you're starting to see a lot of changes happening, okay? You're starting to see a lot of changes happening, and it's like you're going through some cycles, okay? And so I feel that seeing potential with planetary cycles here as the supporting energy really says to me that Virgo is going through a change. There is a cycle ending or beginning. Something is changing here for Virgo where they're going to really see the potential in themselves. Here, something, you know, that you will come out of this more authentic, Virgo. You are going to come out of this more yourself. It's going to feel like you understand what you've just went through a little bit more, and the potential of what's to come. Very interesting. Okay, let's put those there in our crystals, and we will jump right into the tarot. See how to clarify this message of potential and planetary cycle energy, which is really one of an emerging authenticity through a cycle and revealing potential. Interesting. Okay, let's jump into the tarot here for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, to see what messages we can get for their week. Okay. I feel like this is going to involve some decisions. This is going to, yes, this is really going to involve choice on your part, Virgo. You're going to have to choose this. Yeah, Nine of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so as we sort of start to get a look at things here, it seems that you're feeling, you may start to be feeling a little bit restless and bored this week, Virgo, and it's sort of going to, that energy is going to challenge your ability to be humane and to be understanding. And it's almost like you feel like something has recently happened that was unfair. And as a result, your emotional space is not one where you're feeling very understanding or humane. You're almost feeling a bit passive, and like you don't want to, you don't have the capacity right now to be giving. You don't have the capacity right now to change your mind about something, right? Your mind is pretty firmly set right now as being unengaging. You know, it's almost like you're resisting the necessary cycle that is trying to get you to see the potential or authentic nature of you. And that's being challenged right now because of some sort of like, it almost feels like you think something was unfair. And as a result, you're like, well, I don't want to be engaged in this anymore. If it's going to go like this, I don't want to be engaged anymore. And it's a time where you're sort of blocking any new emotions. Like it's almost as if the energies around you are trying to get you to feel better. You know, there's a cycle here that's trying to sort of motivate you to move into a direction of balance and alignment, but you're sort of resistant to it. You're a bit resistant to it, and it seems like, you know, you're putting on quite a front, my dear Virgo. You're putting on a front because the people around you sort of see that you're emotionally at peace, and I would say that you're not. You're feeling at odds with your emotions, in the sense that you're not expressing them to the point where you can sort of shift. You know, sometimes we need to have a moment where we express our emotions truly so that we can move through that energy. And it seems to me like you're kind of denying yourself that a little bit here. The overall mood here is this unfairness I was speaking of. I feel like you've been going through some setbacks here, and they've been coming at you from different aspects of your life, but ultimately the overwhelming feeling here is you're dissatisfied. You're feeling like this unexpected sort of feeling where you're just not able to see past all these setbacks. You know, it's like when one thing finishes, another thing falls apart. And then when that cycle ends, another thing falls apart. I feel like you're moving through experiences very quickly here. And that the overwhelming sort of feeling that you have is one where you're not open to understanding this situation or these situations. It seems like there's been many. You're not willing to really understand these situations in a way that would serve you. You're sort of seeing them on the surface level, which says this is a setback. This is a setback, and we've had many now. And so as a result, your emotions are sort of starting to tune into the setback frequency, and you're starting to feel down. Your vibration is low right now, Virgo. And yeah, it's like you've lost faith in your ability to make something happen that you've been doing very successfully for some time now. And it was like in the recent past, suddenly, it's almost like suddenly your audience switched on you. You know, it's like, you know, when you go from having a lot of support to having no support, almost, it feels like. It's like your sense of being victorious got redefined in the recent past. Like there was a transition that was made here, Virgo, where you went from being very successful to maybe like feeling delays and setbacks, like sort of a lacking of leadership, and you're not sure what to do. So you're sort of quickly trying to gather things together in response to that transition. And it's interesting because I feel like on the outer manifestation of you, it's working. Like the outer shell of you appears to be emotionally content and satisfied. That's how the rest of the world is sort of seeing you. The people that aren't that close to you, the people in the public, are seeing you as like, you're good. You're doing just fine and everything is good. But really, on the inside, there is quite a bit of turmoil here for you, Virgo, because you're at odds with yourself. When I see the Star card in reverse here, I really think that you're feeling as if you're living in the shadow, right? You're denying your true gifts. You know, you might feel that lack. You're really living in a space of looking at what you've lost in the future energies here, instead of trying to rebuild your self-esteem and get a clear vision. All of that is lacking right now. You could be feeling unfocused. really delayed. Like there's lots of delays here. There is something that has sort of brought you down to zero. Like you're not moving forward right now. But yet your energy is one of someone who's still trying to push through that. I feel like there's some, feelings of being drained, feelings of like this process has really impacted your imagination, Virgo. And yet you're not showing it. That's the concerning, ironically, this is the card concerning me in your reading, which is a very happy card. But where it's landed says to me that you're wearing a mask, that you're not willing to sort of show how you really feel about things because of how low things have gotten internally. You're sort of, yeah, like it's like you're starting to really have a difficulty balancing your inner and outer self, because they're very different right now. I feel like you're painting a picture for the people in your life to see, which is very different from the internal environment that you're inside right now. Do you know what I mean? This seems to all be driven, this reading seems to be brought to you by the energy of the Seven of Swords, which really is the idea of, moving away from things to improve the odds and regain what you've lost. That's what you're trying to do. The thing really driving this reading is that you're trying to regain what was lost, but there seems to be something that is requiring you to be stealthy and not completely transparent. And so it's sort of like, despite all of this internal insecurity, you're still trying to collect ideas for a way for you to come out on top. That seems to be your focus, is that you can't appear to have lost. That's why I think this 10 of Cups is in the position of how you appear to others, because you're not showing this. You're not showing this, Virgo. I bet that the only people that really see how you're actually feeling on the inside are the people that are the closest to you, around you, like in your home maybe. Like the people that are the closest to you are the only ones that are really getting a view of this. And so you've got some choices to make here, and it seems like that's what you're that's part of the struggle, is that you're not sure which way to go, and you're sort of hoping inside and trying really hard to get things to a place where you can keep going in the direction that you were moving in, but you're starting to feel like that is not going to happen. Like a part of you is worried that you won't be able to go back to the way things were. The path that you've worked so hard to build may have, like a planetary cycle, just sort of, that's the end of the cycle. It's time for a new cycle. And it's interesting because there is a new cycle coming in here with this Page of Wands at the end of this part of your reading, which suggests that there is a very sort of auspicious new beginning being given to you from the universe, which is creating that sort of restlessness. But it's almost like you're misusing that restlessness to try and push something that may have ended already, instead of starting something new, Virgo. And it seems like you have some misaligned energy here that is creating that confusion. When I see the Chariot here at the top of mind for you, it really makes me think that you're at a place right now where things are just not what you expected. This is not how you expected these years to go. You're not, this is certainly not how you expected things to go. And so because you're a little out of balance here, you could be experiencing a lot of conflicts and problems due to that opposition that's within you, that the internal and the external are sort of they're not really congruent right now. And so, I mean, there's this idea that you could actually be sort of having a difficult time because of the internalization of all of these changes. It feels like you've internalized some of these setbacks that you've experienced, and as a result you're now out of balance. You know what I mean? Because you took this on as being something that reflects you, and now you're at a place where it's like, you know, I'm on this journey of self-discovery and there's all these obstacles, but at what cost do I keep going? You know, at what cost? And you sort of keep asking yourself that, because you have found that you're suffering losses here. I feel like Virgo has gone through a period recently that has surprised Virgo, that you weren't expecting things to go this way. This, you know, this seems to have really affected your emotions, and you're sort of daunted by your newfound inability to make decisions. You know, like, I feel like Virgo, you have always been really solid and sure about yourself, and this may be a time where you have suddenly felt like you don't understand what's going on and you don't see the potential anymore. But it's just in these moments when it seems like all is lost that we realize our potential. And I feel like the guidance for you here is to regain faith in yourself and to rebalance things so that, you know, you don't feel this need to hide who you are or how you're feeling, and that you don't feel like these obstacles are insurmountable. There is a risk here of you eventually becoming defensive, because eventually I think this is going to start to appear to others as being incongruent, and there's this feeling of what justifies the means and the cost. What are you willing to lose if you keep pushing this path instead of allowing the next cycle to sort of evolve? I feel like that's the issue here for you, Virgo, is that you're fighting these setbacks instead of focusing on why they could be happening. You know, like, maybe you're being redirected, Virgo. You could be in a state of redirection, but you're resisting that redirection, and you're just finding that, I feel like you've lost faith in your ability to start over. You just want, it's like you just want to see that same path carry you forward into the future. But I feel like you're heading into a shift, and that it's one that you might not be too excited about, like, because I think you have, you know, I don't blame you. It seems like you're coming into this shift from a place of loss, a place of lack, a place of having a setback. And so it's difficult to accept changing paths when the path has changed because we feel like we have lost something, or there has been a setback, one that we didn't expect as well, one that wasn't planned. This wasn't a planned situation that you could have sort of prepared for, Virgo. This was potentially like the sort of the planetary cycles card. This could have just been the natural cycle of something, and it has had impacts on your plans for yourself. But I really think that from seeing this, your plans are shifting. I think that there's some potential trying to break through here. So what is the final message of guidance here for Virgo on their journey? Oh, thank you. Okay. Transformation. Yeah. There is something transforming here. You're on a journey of transformation, and it's sort of time to allow that transition and not be fearful, right? Not be fearful of what that transition could look like for you, Virgo? I feel like saying that not to be fearful, because I feel like it's not fear like you're scared, but fear like it's so unfamiliar. I feel like you're heading into a place that wasn't planned. This was not a plan. This was a time that you thought things would be different. You might have thought that you were done with the idea of trying to reinvent things, but here you are again. And this card is really here to tell you that some relationships are not meant to last. It's time for change, and it's time to shed your skin and activate another aspect of yourself, and to hold on to the vision that you seem to have lost faith in. You know, when I see the Star card in reverse, that really makes me think of someone who has all of this potential. There's so much potential, and they've just lost faith in themselves because of setbacks, because of relationships ending, because of something that has happened that you weren't expecting. You weren't expecting this, and it sort of shook you a bit. But the interesting thing is everyone else sees you as emotionally content, which I feel is a warning sign to say the inside and the outside. It's time to sort of bring a bit of congruency between those two aspects of yourself, to bring in balance going forward, because you're transforming. Your potential is going to shine through, Virgo. It's just a matter of sort of getting those emotions and the mind to a still place where you can allow some of these shifts and transformations to happen without resistance, and without actively trying to push an agenda that is cyclically, it's finished. That cycle is done, and not every cycle is meant to last. We are meant to transform. That's kind of the point. We're meant to change. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for you, Virgo. If this has resonated and you would like a personal reading, my email is in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, watching, and subscribing. And we'll see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light, my friends. Take care.